I'm out on a walk, and we're going to talk about the Contemporary Christian Machine EP by Sower, aka Eric Tuff and Son. Sorry if I said that name wrong. This is a collection of 4 songs that are actively talking about the church and contemporary Christian music and kind of the industrialization of the church. This EP has a lot of really great production in it, which it is self-produced by Eric. There's elements of rock, there's elements of punk, there's elements of CCM, there's elements of emo, Midwest rock, 80s stuff potentially. It's really quite an interesting production. The first song, aka the title track, Contemporary Christian Machine, is what I would call a very serious parody song. Obviously, the abbreviation for the title is CCM. Not only that, but he starts kind of like blending the song into a very typical corporate worship song by the time you get to the chorus and the bridge, using very typical worship song structures, sounds, and ideas. Lyrics like, whoa, 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 sing it out, sing out loud, but then swapping phrases for like, lift me up higher. The song is kind of approaching this idea of a machine that fuels pride and fuels just creating something to make money. But the EP, it doesn't stay in that kind of cheeky zone. Instead, it becomes really serious, but it is serious about the right stuff. So like the song Steady Decline, it starts off with decide to hide the truth behind closed doors, and just this apathy of what has happened behind closed doors of the church and within the industry itself. Really thought-provoking. Track 3, Corporate Capture, also really is hitting hard because it's basically asking, what is the cost of commercialization? What is the cost of becoming an industry? Telling the artist to play nice and don't use too much overly biblical talk. The chorus of this one really reminds me of some of like Weezer's old stuff, but it's a really powerful thought to think about what it has cost to commercialize writing about Jesus. The last track, Falling Away, I think is one of the more interesting ones as well, because it's about how there's a worship leader who wants to write about Jesus and starts with these great motives, but then as things develop and move forward and the industry pressure and the pressures of the church and the megachurch culture, eventually they cave and it's like they don't know who they are anymore. What I think is really actually the beautiful part of this song is how Eric then writes that it's something that can easily take hold of any of us. This idea of pride, this idea of being recognized and known. As he says in the songs, we can end up plastering our own face over Jesus's. I give it a 10 out of 10. I'm very thankful to know Eric. I would give it a 10 out of 10 even if I didn't know him.
My new EP, Contemporary Christian Machine, does take shots at the Christian music industry, if you didn't notice by the title. But there's an admission that we're all susceptible to compromise, and that the only real solution is to cling to Jesus more and to cling to his word and his church. And so my hope is that this will move the ball forward a little bit, that God's kingdom would come in this industry as it is in heaven.
Eric would be the last person to ever ask me to make a video reviewing his album. For that reason, I think it not only earns a 10 out of 10, but it is deserved.